Welcome back. So far, we've created the UI for our profile. So now we're going to first work on displaying the data, and then we're going to work on the edit, update, and cancel functionality. So first, let's display our user data. Let's deconstruct from our use auth. So we're going to do current user, and it's going to be get profile because that's going to be the and we're going to do that from use auth. Okay, so now we're going to be using use effect. Actually, that's going to be like that, and yes. And it's going to be current user and get profile. So we're going to do if not current user, we're going to do get profile. And if current user, we're going to set it to, going to set profile to current user. And just by doing that, we should be, here we go. Our data is displaying. Of course, the location is not something that we already have saved yet, but we're gonna add that in the update section. I don't want these to be interactive right now. You notice I can change them. I want to be able to just hit edit. So let's do something about that. So const is disabled, set is disabled, and use state, we're going to set that to true. And for our all three of our text, we're going to do this. Hold alt and click, and we're going to do disabled is equal to is disabled. And so now should not be interactive. Okay, now that we've done that, I want the update and the cancel buttons to disappear when disabled is equal to true. When disabled is equal to false, I want the edit button to disappear, and I want the update buttons here to show. So how are we going to do that? On here, we're going to say is disabled. Like that. Let's take care of the indentation here. Else, we're displaying null. And then down here, we're pretty much going to do the exact opposite. So if not is disabled, like this, we're returning null, like that. Okay, so couple things that we need to add. We're gonna say const handle, let's say handle disabled. Yeah, handle disabled. We're gonna do set is disabled to false. Let's do on const on handle cancel. Handle cancel. We're gonna do set is disabled to true, and also let's do handle update. Handle update. For now, we're gonna do set is disabled to true as well. Okay, so let's do on this one, Let's do on click, and it's going to be handle disabled. On the update, we're going to do on click, it's going to be handle update. And on the cancel button, it's going to be handle cancel. So now you're about to see some magic like that. Okay, so far so good. All right, so before we're able to move forward, okay, we have to add some functionalities here. And the way we do that is we go to our server, we go to models, we go to user, and we add a location. So location, that is going to be type string. Okay, we close that. We go to our, not the model, we go to the controller. We create a function. We're going to do const update user. All right, update user, we add a try catch. Error, okay. Just get this out of the way. So on the update user, we have to get the ID. So we're gonna say const user ID we're gonna get that from the rec, not the rec user. We're gonna do rec params dot ID. Okay. And then we're going to do, let's see what we gotta do. Now that we have the rec.user, now that we have the user ID, okay, we need to, let's compare. Let's say if, because we need to make sure that the user has the has the right authorization. They have to be updating their own profile. So we're gonna say if user ID is not equal to rec.user.id, we're gonna return res.status. It's gonna be a 401, and we're gonna return unauthorized action. Okay. Else, we're going to say let user is equal to we're not going to do user.find by ID. We're going to do user, how do I do this? It's going to be user.find1 and update. Okay, find one and update. What we're going to do is we're going to pass the ID. We're going to pass the user ID. Okay, and then we're going to pass the rec.body. And then this right here it's an option. It's going to return new. So it's going to return the updated version. Okay. And then let me close that. Oops. So something else that we're gonna add here. Let's say, yeah. Let's say for some reason the user is not found. Let's send that. All right. Else we're gonna say res.json.user. Okay. So now that we've created a update user function, let's export it. Update user. And now we go to our user route. Okay. update user, and let's copy this. Actually, hang on one second. Let's copy this, bring it down a little bit. It's going to be a put because we're updating. It's going to be update. Actually, no. It's going to be a put, and it's going to have the ID, and then we're going to do update user. Okay, and we're also authenticating here. Now that we've done this, all we have to do now is go back to our client, go to our context, auth state. We're gonna create now, let's do this. Let's do update user. Okay, instead of a get, it's gonna be a put, and it's gonna have user data. We're gonna do user data, and we're also gonna pass the config. Here we're gonna say update. No, not update. So we got to do backticks here. Okay. The reason we're doing backticks is because we're gonna pass the user data dot underscore ID, and then we're gonna do set user, and then if anything we're gonna do auth error right here. Okay, and once we do that, we're gonna go down also and export update user, and now in our profile we can just do we can do update user function. All right, now when we do handle update, we're gonna just call update user and pass it the profile. So how do we do this? Let's say what's the city? Let's say Detroit, Michigan. All right. Hit update. See, now that it's saved. If we're to log out, okay, we log out and we log back in. Let's go back to our profile. We now have Detroit, Michigan, and if we go to our database, Peter Pan has now been updated to have a location of Detroit, Michigan. Okay. So now for our cancel function. All right. Let's see. We need to have a temporary variable. Let's just call it temp, set temp, and we're gonna set that to null. Let's use state null. Okay. Now, why do we need that? When we click on edit here, this handle disable is going to trigger. We're going to hold a temporary copy of our profile. Okay, so we're going to do set temp, and we're going to pass it profile. And when we hit cancel, we're going to set profile back to temp. All right, and then we're going to do set temp. We're going to set it back to null. So let's see. Let's change this to Sacramento, California. All right, now I'm not hitting update, I'm hitting cancel. See how it goes back to Detroit, Michigan. Now let's say Brooklyn, New York. Okay, hit cancel, goes back to Detroit, Michigan. Now let's say Spring Valley, New York. I hit update. It now changes. Go back to my database. It's now set to Spring Valley, New York. All right. So we now have updated. We're not able to display our profile, and we're able to update. Now, if you want to add more fields, you can do that. Just add the fields first. You got to add the fields to your user model. Okay, add the fields to your user model, and if it needs additional logic to update it and whatnot, you can do that. You can do that in your controller. Make sure you export it and call it out in your routes, like we're doing. But I believe this is it for the profile. Last, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on our theme to make this thing looks a little bit prettier. All right, we don't have any blogs. You know what? Let's create a blog right now for this profile. Let's generate. Okay, let's go to blog. Let's create another one. Well, hold up. Blog, create blog. What is this? Hold on. Okay. We'll work on that in a minute.